ready for a fight. Onward through the astral they do fly. Onward through the astral they do fly. While squidlings tend their trusty nautiloid. Pilgrims of the wild space they defend, and empires of star-bound tyrants they offend. With flaming sword and staff and dart, they'll fight their way back to the heart of Orel. By forces they do not know they are heard. By forces they do not know they are watched. Oh, the lonesome cry of eldritch beasts from rock of brawl to halt the ceaseless winter. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. It's cold in the starways tonight. Yes, it's cold in the starways tonight. We need someone to save us. We need someone who's ready for a fight. Onward through the astral they do fly. Onward through the astral they do fly. While squidlings tend their trusty nautiloid. Pilgrims of the wild space they defend, and empires of star-bound tyrants they offend. With flaming sword and staff and dart, they'll fight their way back to the heart of Orel. By forces they do not know they are heard. By forces they do not know they are watched. Oh, the lonesome cry of eldritch beasts from rock of brawl to halt the ceaseless winter. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. It's cold in the starways tonight. Yes, it's cold in the starways tonight. We need someone to save us. We need someone who's ready for a fight. Onward astral they do fly.
We are live. Welcome everyone to session 30 of Everybody's a Mimic, an actual play 5th edition webcast. Formerly playing Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden, but now taking a jaunt into space with Spelljammer. I am joined by 3 out of our 4 players, as one of our players has recently purchased a brand new house, and we want to congratulate him on doing that. Congratulations.
Yay.
Congrats, we love
Home
you.
ownership.
Invite us over to your house sometime.
Yes, house party at Levi's place next session. But we have 3 of our players here with us. My name is Corey, your lovable DM as always. I am also joined by...
I can go. I'm
All
Ray.
the rest of us.
All of us. I'm Ray. I play Rosemary Bone Crusher and all of the animals that she turns into, and also Bree Tea Leaf, who's the ghost who possesses her sometimes.
I am Carson. I play Bitte and Delnadre, and I'm absolutely fucking loving it. Living for the trauma.
And I'm Blake. I play Delnadre Miracos. I also play all of the animals that he can turn into.
You do play Tansy.
He does have one animal in his wheelhouse.
That's true. I do also voice Tansy, the Puffin Familiar.
Don't think we've ever actually heard Tansy even squawk.
Have you ever asked? No one engages Tansy in conversation.
Tansy is a dignified puffin and only speaks when spoken to. So that's our fault.
She's shy.
Nature's most majestic bird.
When Tansy was flying back to the other Goliath village and recounted the tales for 5 days straight of what we had done to that point. We missed that part. That wasn't on stream.
That's why they made her the sweater.
Mm-hmm. The gold inlaid, I don't know, rich fashion vest.
Yeah, sweater vest.
Sweater vest. Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we last session just had our first wild space encounter. Finished up that ship-to-ship battle. Learned a lot of the way it's going to kind of play out for us. Highly recommend you go back and watch that session 29. It was pretty fun time. Had a dramatic twist there at the end, as we've now been encountered the Zarxian Empire, this imposing government theocracy. I'm not quite sure figured out what exactly it is that has been launching crystalline seeds all across Coral, at least so far, causing massive vines to burst from the surface, giving our players a reason to dive deeper into space to find this long lost or far away rather empire and put a stop to whatever they are doing in hopes to save their planet. We jetted away after disabling their ship and capturing one of their crewmates, along with some Adozi, the little monkey guys, warriors which have been hired as mercenaries for the Zarxians, and have agreed to, kind of jump sides and join the Moon Dancer and our crew as they get on their way to the rock. Unfortunately, to try to shake their tail, make sure nobody's really quite aware that the Moon Dancer was the ship that took out one of the Star Moths, a big no-no for the Zarxian Empire. Sartell has decided to shift their course and come at the rock from the opposite direction, kind of making a big circle around. That gives us a little opportunity for just some downtime, not as long as we might have on other travel and trips that we're going to have during this portion of the the campaign, but it's going to be an excellent opportunity for us to get through kind of what our players are going to be doing while they kind of mill around on the ship. So we're going to go over a little bit. I'm going to start top to bottom here on what's been posted in our Discord, and we're going to go through some of these activities that our players have wanted to do, and kind of just go down the ground rules of what they can expect, how they can improve upon themselves, and what's happening. So, Bitte, you wanted to adapt elf breastplates to fit you and Dell. You also wanted to work towards improving your proficiency with improvised weapons because you are already proficient with all known weapons. Is that true? Because you have like all
all martial and simple.
nice.
Ranger.
And
Though it does sound funny to say he's proficient with all weapons known to man.
yeah.
Bitte is just that cool.
BJ is fucking cool.
Literally just like picks up a weapon. I know this.
He's a righteous dude.
And finally, you wanted to learn Elvish so you can better know and hunt your new enemy. Which, if you did miss that last time, we've added the light elves or astral elves, I should say, is mm, the enemy that Bitte is working towards becoming his favorite enemy. All right. So, does anybody here besides excluding the crew members here, does anybody know Elvish? Del
does.
Del does. Okay, excellent. Because at the time, if you had wanted to learn Elvish, when it comes to those downtime activities, you need to have somebody who's providing that training to you. In order to become proficient in something, you need to know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. You can train all day with improvised weapons, but unless there's somebody to tell you, no, you should do it this way, swing your shoulder that way, hold it this way, it's really just going to become more trial and error, and it's going to be a really extended period when it comes to doing it that way. So, as far as work towards your improvised weapon proficiency, Bitte, not going to make much progress on that. Learning Elvish, however, that is definitely something that you and Delnadre could have sat together and started putting, kind of some dots to it. We'll say you've brought out the alphabet for Bitte Del and have been training him. Brief little teaching session. Not quite anywhere. At least this downtime wasn't quite long enough to learn anything. But you're putting in the groundworks. You're getting there. Working your way towards the ability to be able to recreate that and have proficiency in that language. And then when it comes to adapting and carve and then working on those breastplates, this is where I want you to kind of chime in a little bit. How do you? Because last time I kind of described them as like carbon fiber form fitting. Upon further, in fact, give me a let's see, what check would you think would be appropriate here?
Let me look at my page and see if I actually have a.
Do you have tool proficiency?
Tools. I mean, I do have proficiency with. I think it is specifically like, oh, you are proficient carving bone, bone and whatnot. So let me take a look. Sorry, my stuff is moving a little slow. I'm trying to get the page pulled up.
Because the breastplates and the armor of the Star Moth itself was kind of chipped, almost like it's crystalline, but it's grown.
Yeah, chitinous, which is why I feel like bone as a similar medium would behave similar to it because it's a endoskeleton versus exoskeleton.
Yeah. Okay. So give me a roll using that toolkit.
My stuff is not responding very well for me right now, but let me see if I can just pull up the roller and just roll it.
There you go.
I can't figure out to push the top.
Plus
Um,
12 plus what you get, how I'm guessing.
uh, so his dexterity is a 2, and proficiency at this time is a 3. So plus 5, so 17.
17. Okay. You make some progress, but just the way that the material is very brittle. In any, I guess it's brittle when you're trying to change its form to something that it's not. It's
Yeah.
been.
So what he's specifically doing to change it, he's basically he's looking to like turn the portions of it into like heavy pauldrons that'll protect like his shoulders and neck, and then taking he's got half of that white buffalo antlers still and like turning like the big broad blades of the antler into like a chest protective piece. So like what he's at, so it's more like he's changing like the straps and whatnot on the breastplates, and
Mhm.
then he's making like a bone chest protection place, and he's just gonna like aim to like catch shit on his shoulders more.
Okay. So rather than trying to like rework the actual shape of the breastplate, you're using the shapes of it that are already formed and just kind of creating your own armor out of it, as if like you're taking it and forming it like scales, for like some kind of like padded or stacked kind of armor. Is that a good a guess?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good approximation.
Okay, excellent. And Dell, you also wanted to study the astral armor. So um, as Bitte is working through that, I guess how are you?
So my focus is more on like being able to use the stuff, because like as I remember, their bows were like creating magical arrows of light that they were shooting at people. Is that just a thing it does automatically? Is there some kind of function or feature, like the intended goal being, if I just pick up a piece of astral elf weapon tool or something in the future, I can just use it without looking like, oh, I don't know what this is.
Mhm. Yes. So despite everything that you might want to try to do, okay. Okay. So we'll get back to that then. So is there nothing you wanted to do when it came to like the armor specifically, like trying to wear it, or just straight up just to wear it?
Um, no, like for me, it's, I'm not trying to like get proficiency with it or anything. It's more just, if I can put it on my body, if it fits me, then that's good enough.
Okay. Okay.
And so that's
Uh,
like within Bite's
Yeah.
wheelhouse.
yeah.
Does Dell have, out of curiosity, does Dell have medium armor proficiency?
I do not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but Beta has medium armor proficiency, and he could maybe try and spend some time working on teaching that proficiency to Dell, potentially.
Yeah, just like the same way he can help you teach Elvish. During these downtimes, you will all be able to kind of help and share some of your proficiencies with each other. Just
Yeah,
you're
if we're
gonna
gonna
hear.
do that, let's focus on longbow proficiency, because I have a longbow I took from one of these guys that I can't use.
Yeah,
Beta can absolutely help with that.
yeah. And I will say one thing is like when you're working on a proficiency, we'll just to make sure that you're not just like, okay, I'd like to get 5 proficiencies from each other. It's a start on one and focus on that until we're done. So like
Yeah,
with Bitte, you're focusing on Elvis as your proficiency. Doesn't mean you can't work on the armor and get that to work. But if you want to be proficient with something new, like improvised weapons, work on Elvis
yeah,
first, and then we'll work. But to also touch on improvised, we have nobody who can teach you to that. So right now, you can just hold on to
yeah.
that.
Who would I go to find that?
You're
Or
gonna
is
have
it,
to
would it be, I need to like, okay, I'm gonna scour the taverns for a tavern brawler.
pretty much, yeah. I mean, like you're gonna try to hire somebody from the crew that can help you with improvised weapons. Would be your
Is
goal.
there, is there one of the Hidosi that likes to cut a rug on the weekends?
That I looked on them. None of them have improvised weapon. And there will be opportunities when we get to the rock to have some kind of like leveled NPCs, which will help a lot with
Yeah,
this.
no, well, yeah. I mean, I was like, oh, obviously it's not in the stat block, but like, oh, just roll, just see if we get lucky.
I'm gonna go with no for right now, but maybe later.
I'm just picturing
No.
Dell and Vite up on the deck of the ship, just like bouncing back and forth off each other. Vite's just like, all right, now shoot that rock as we're passing by a meteor. And it's like, damn it. And then Dell just like turning and saying something to him in Elvish, and Vite being like, was that how is the weather?
Yeah, they're like trying to like he's like training you how to like take blows on your armor like because you're used to like dodging, whereas armor is like, okay, no, you want to put the armor in the way instead of just dodging out of the way because it's heavier and you can't do that as easily. And then like Beat is trying to tough talk you, but he's saying like macaroni salad on the weekend. You're like, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, well, why did you teach me the word for macaroni salad?
Because it's a good word.
It is a great word. It sounds beautiful, but it is not helpful in my new blood quest.
Blood quest. Unless you want to insult somebody and say, I'm gonna make your intestines into some macaroni.
Maybe you can insult them morally and just say, like, your aunt's macaroni salad sucks. That's a devastating blow.
Ooh, yeah.
Astral Elf is a very cookout and picnic-based society.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they love a mimosa in the park. The evil bastards.
Okay, wonderful. So, Bitte, I think we're good for what we've done for you. I have that you've begun working on Elvish with Delnadre. You've also repurposed the Elvis the breastplates to into a new piece of armor for you. That should be really no problem at all. So I'm guessing it's just like a regular breastplate or whichever whatever you wanted to create it into.
Yeah, I don't think his AC even changes.
Yeah.
That.
Now, actually, one question for that: is this armor on the outside of what you're wearing? Is it underneath all your padded furs? How visual?
Oh yeah, no. So Beta's like after like that first thing, Beta is stripped down out of the furs.
Okay.
Because like he honestly like he doesn't necessarily even truly wear them to stay warm.
Mm-hmm.
Just because his Goliath constitution is he's just acclimated to that sort of environment. But but yeah, no, as he's in like the coming days, he comes down, and so he wears he strips down to like not a loincloth, but it's like a skirt, and it kind of comes up his thighs a little bit, so it has a lot freer movement, and his y'all are predominantly used to just effectively just seeing his eyes, which are like a faint mat of like sea foam blue green. But as he is taking off most of his stuff, he's wearing essentially just the like his new harness and armor and his skirt thing. I think I posted a thing in the Discord, so
okay.
I'm trying. I'll try and find some art that Corey you can maybe post in there for it. But yeah, so y'all can see a lot more prominent his markings and his natural Goliath colorations.
Excellent. Okay, wonderful. We'll touch on that.
It looks like classic fantasy barbarian a bit.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting. It's like you're on this blood quest and you're attaching tokens or trophies from the enemies that you're beating up as part of your armor, kind of situation. Is that a general
Yeah.
gist of it?
Yes, and but he's still keeping the Yeti horn cap.
Right. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. So, Rosemary, you want to
Yes.
spend some time praying to the Oak Father.
Yeah, because being a druid and like coming from that religious society, I feel like that was a big driving force of like my mission is that like the Oak Father says something is wrong, and so therefore I should go try to fix it. And now I am far away from that, and I want to see if that connection is still there and if he has any guidance of where to go from here.
Okay. Um, let's hear it. What kind of like give me like a sentence or two as you sit down and you kind of beseech the Oak Father.
Yeah, I feel like Rosemary kind of tries to find a quiet moment on the deck. Maybe even just like kind of sitting a little bit away from um when Bitte and Dell are like doing their training on the deck, and like kind of puts her back up against the one of the masts because it kind of feels like a substitute for a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Um and just kind of like closes her eyes and starts to try to meditate and being like, Oak Father, are you still there? How can I help you from so far away? I don't know what's going on. I need guidance on how to even start to fix this.
And when Rosemary has spoken with or beseeched or communicated with the Oak Father in the past, has the Oak Father like spoken back to you, or was it more you saw signs in nature, or you just had this like this just knowing of what he wanted of you?
So I feel like like I just kind of like have the feeling that like D&D gods can be like generally fickle. So like some of it is like seeing the signs in nature, some of it is like words or feelings. Particularly like in Rosemary's home is a place that's particularly close to the Oak Father. Like we have like whatever the
Yeah.
elder tree is, so like
Mhm.
it's easier to get like kind of like easier for him to return your message
Right.
from there.
Okay. But does
Yeah.
he like speak to you, or is it more? I'm just trying
Um,
to see how am I going to respond now?
I feel like he speaks if it's important to him.
Okay. All right. So you you've never been in space before. Rosemary is, and the Oak Father, as far as you are aware, was, a god of your system, a god of coral, right? You have the
Mhm.
physical tree in your town, an oak, a massive oak grown from an acorn from the Oak Father. And yet, it's almost as if as you sit on this ship that you find yourself even more connected or closer, rather, to the Oak Father. And to give a little above the table kind of like meta knowledge here. So, we're in wild space right now, but the second half of wild space or Spelljammer or everything is called the astral sea, which is very commonly an area where you can find domains of the gods. We're gonna,
Ooh.
just kind of let you know, like the Oak Father is out there. Should you wish to ever travel there, not that Rosemary's aware of this, but that there you can have a closer or even like almost have an audience with the Oak Father in Spelljammer if you
Show up
really
at his house.
yes, yeah, kind of like you can show up at his house. And so as you're sitting there the the deck, you're back to the mast, it begins to kind of like grow. And before you even know it, you've sent your message out. You don't hear anything except for this like this intense just I guess wave of acknowledgement wash over you. But for anybody else that's sitting there, they just kind of see this grove sprout up around where Rosemary's sitting. From the wood of the deck, little sprouts pop up out of the mast. A branch comes out, and a little apple drops. But what is in this apple is it's not a regular apple. It's not an apple you've ever seen. It's just weird, foreign. kind of a variety, but it has little cracks, little veins of crystal running through it from one little point. And you get the feeling that this is a good judgment of your home, of maybe even the tree of the oak father. That this is an understanding that your world, your fruit, is plagued with this disease. You don't get much else from the oak father, whether it's because you're moving around, whether it's because you don't quite understand this new connection you can make with him now. It's not like you're calling him over phone or through a snail mail anymore. Now you're kind of upgraded. So you're gonna have to have some time, focus a bit more on that. You feel that this connection's different. But for the time being,
Okay.
that's all you get is you get this little tiny miniature grove from where you've sat on the deck of the ship.
That definitely gives Rosemary like a lot of heart. It's like because she was worried for a minute that like, oh God, like if something happened to like the first oak or like the first tree, like what if I can't talk to the oak father anymore? Like what if like that? So the fact that like she can still access that connection and it seems seemingly stronger than ever, that gives her a lot of heart, and she's going to like make an effort to every day spend some time in like prayer and meditation,
Yeah.
um and just try to like almost refine that connection.
Hmm. Yeah. And just in case I forget it down the road, but as long as you continue to go back to that little grove that you've made, it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Like there may be to
Hell
a
yeah.
point where like there's just a full on jungle just on our deck because of how often that you've tried to connect to the Oak Father. Because that's just his influence coming across. You're acting as a conduit. And because you're sitting on the mast on things that are living or formerly living, its energy is flowing through you into his natural environment and is basically just bringing the ship back to life.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
I guess to a point, be careful as well because
I mean,
sprouting
I don't
giant
want to break the
redwoods.
ship, but it is
Yeah,
like it's a nice little reminder of home.
I will say is if you go under the deck and you look underneath like where you were sitting, you will see like little root systems sprouting underneath as well. So
I feel
also you
like
have to take
part
care of
of
them.
Rosemary's like meditation is also like tending to that garden and making sure it doesn't like making sure there's not like root lock, making sure it doesn't like choke other things out.
Hmm.
It's like I feel like part of like her society is like working along with nature, and that sometimes requires like pruning nature.
Of course, yeah, that's something the Oak Father really understands. I mean, remember, Oral is part of his family, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
defeating her is almost as if it's like you're pruning that part of his family.
Yeah.
You need
It's
you need
like helping nature find balance.
yeah, you need to cut her back a little bit. So, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you also wanted to study what alien biology is relevant to trying to help keep the crew in tip-top shape. What do you mean by that? Like,
Like maybe like starting on some checkups with like what race was the our spelljammer, like the guy who
he is a
steers
flump.
our ship. Okay, so figuring out what that means and like how to help, and also like some of like the monkey folk that we uh adopted,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
like checking in on them, trying to figure out like, so if one of them gets hurt, I know a little bit of how to help patch them up.
Okay. Roll me a persuasion check for as you're speaking with the Hadozi. The flump, for the most part, he doesn't really let you examine his biology as much, but does tell you what he wants, what he needs. The Hadozi, however, are very wary of you and your crew. Still, they're here to join. They understand the expectations. They've been on multiple ships before. They know what Sartell wants of them. They do their job, but they still keep to themselves. And unfortunately, during this time, you weren't able to kind of break the ice, and get them
Fair
to open
enough.
up to trust to learn more about them. But Sartell will kind of like sit you down and explain that one of the most important parts of a ship, and especially for long travel, It's not the food. It's not anything. It's not keeping us fit. It's the air quality. All right, your air quality is limited. It's finite. If you go for a really long time in wild space with too many people on the ship, your air quality deteriorates and eventually everyone dies from poisoning. Basically, just I guess like lack of oxygen, too much carbon dioxide, that. So
So
when she's
potentially my little grove
Yeah.
could help with that, yeah?
Our
exactly,
air purification plants.
Hell yeah.
yeah, they went to the thing. Okay.
All
So
right,
yeah,
awesome.
so like tending the grove, she will say like, don't ruin my shit, but this will help. This will help. So,
Okay.
all right, and you sit down with Bitte, but you notice like from what you've seen him with Delnadre, he seems more distracted and kind of like I guess he's given himself a purpose, isn't as bloodthirsty as he was before. So
Yeah.
you'll feel more comforted.
Uh,
And
and given my little grove, I feel like if I can grow a little like thorned accoutrement for his ensemble, like something biological but also intimidating.
all right, yep, you start putting the work in to
That would be
grow a
fucking great.
thorny attachment for. I'm just gonna call it a thorny attachment for Carson or Bitte's armor.
Yeah.
And then of course you look over and make sure Levi is good, but he's been doing pretty good. He's been making himself very busy, doing work on the ship. Of course he comes from a sailing background, a sailing nation, or rather an island, a naval power in his area, and so he's well familiar with. Even though it's a spelljammer, it still functions like a regular ship, and he's kind of like lost himself in this muscle memory of his childhood. So that's what Levi's doing right now. Now, anything else, Rosemary, before we move on to Dell?
I think that's it.
Okay, wonderful. So, Delnadre, you wanted to study the astral weapons and armor to learn more about their technology, and that's specifically how they harness the energy to create that radiant damage.
Yeah, that's a big piece of it to at least start off with.
Okay, and then you got some sketches of the elves. Their is it more of how they look, or are you looking at like their physical attributes?
Did like just honestly like bust kind of thing, so shoulder and face, in
Okay.
case I wanted to just do like a quick disguise self or something. I kind of have a face in mind.
Mm-hmm. And then
Same
learn
thing
about
for like
Spelljammer
the
technology from Flapjack and Captain. Okay, so two things here. I know you wanted to get proficiency in longbow, and of course, as well, being proficient in Spelljammer. Or at least, are you trying to be proficient in spelljamming, or are you just trying to learn how it works?
I just want to learn how it works.
Okay.
So as a merchant's son, Delnadre knows the worst thing you can do to like just blow your credibility is be just completely ignorant of the culture or what you're trying to sell or whatnot. So my whole focus is like I want to be able to just seamlessly integrate into the society we're going to as much as possible.
All right.
Like if Dell can just walk off from the group when we're on the rock or wherever we are and just no one can tell that he's a foreigner, that's the goal.
Mm-hmm. So, we'll dive it top to bottom again. So, studying astral weapons. First thing you need to do is how to understand how to use a longbow. So we'll just kind of wash over that. You are training with Delnadre or with Bitte. Didn't quite get enough training in the time we've gone, but you've put in a good amount of work. You understand. You've gotten down the ability to pull it back, to knock the bow, to aim, but you're just not quite there in a high stress environment. When Bitte tells you to fire, fire, fire here, there, and there, or try to get one that's a bit further out, or more difficult targets, you're definitely lacking to a point of you wouldn't feel comfortable attempting this in combat quite yet. Additionally, you have not been able to do whatever they've done to harness the energy through their weapons. Or if you've noticed that their weapons do seem to have some sort of like inlay from the handles, where the palm would touch the blade or would touch the bow. Something about that seems key to harnessing that radiant energy. Nothing that I'm not going to require a roll from you on that for right now, but you need to focus a little bit more on that to really understand the radiant part, but you also need to understand how to use the weapon before you really get to that. So continue to work on harnessing and developing a proficiency with longbows. And give me a sorry, go on.
Oh, I just want to say that Beta also has like his fighting style is archery, so if that helps him at all speed up the process of learning. So the the longer bow with the greater poundage is a proper war bow. But 70, 100 pound pull, you need to be engaging your back in this way and using different muscles than simply your arms and shoulders like you're used to.
I imagine there's also a lot of unlearning that has to happen because Dell is proficient with short bows and used to doing that, so he's just shooting the longbow as if it were a short bow rather than aiming up trying to like actually arc shots towards longer distance. He's like, oh, I'll just shoot everything in a straight line, it just works.
Lot of arrows thrown off into asteroids as we go.
Excellent. So you're making progress. Largely just comes down to we don't have enough time. You know, this downtime was maybe like a good chunk of a day, but not quite like what you really fully expect. It's enough for y'all to really get into something and get started, but you haven't gotten to the point of fully getting into like being on the ship for like a week or so between systems. So you also wanted to look at working on that disguise. So if you could roll me a disguise kit if you're proficient in that, otherwise performance.
I am proficient with disguise kits. What kind of stat check do you want from that?
Intelligence or wisdom, because
Okey-dokey.
you're not really focusing on like how good it looks, but you're trying to recreate as best as you remember. Yep, that'll be well done. So use it. You also got the opportunity to use, the elf you guys have captured, who has, for the most part, since gotten brutally beaten up by Bitte, gone silent and refused to share any more information. You're able to use her as kind of a base as well as just what you're able to recollect from the battles, and you're working. Would you perhaps like have like clay? You found some materials to work with here on the ship, or repurpose some stuff, or maybe gotten. I don't know if Rosemary has like shape earth or create or do anything with like earth to make clay at all.
Let me double
I would have
check.
also like tried to grab some stuff off of the corpses before we ditched those, assuming we did, and we're not just carrying around all those dead elves.
Yeah, no,
Like
you.
like a piece of jewelry or something, or like oh yeah, they've all got this one like badge or something. If there's like small stuff that I could just throw into the kit.
Yeah. No, of course. Yes, definitely. And not only if it wasn't from the people that you well, so I guess the question is they all wear their their outfits are based on their role, right? So you had three different roles kind of. You had the captain, which is like the leader of the warriors. Then you had just the regular warriors, the lieutenant and the two guys, and then you had the priestess, which is one you captured. So I guess which one are you trying? Which armor or look are you trying to recreate out of those? A leader,
Definitely captain
a
stuff.
captain.
The
Okay,
higher rank, the less I'm likely to be questioned.
gotcha. All right, so working on recreating the captain's look for a disguise. Wonderful. Um, Unfortunately, just with the way the combat went, you weren't able to get like a perfect, you know, like the things you got are a little bit damaged. That just means, but you got a lot of it of what you're missing. Maybe another interaction with the captain that you can kind of like really just beat him up more bluntly, would get you everything that you require. They did have a different breastplate, so and I will say Bitte did reuse one of those breastplates, so you're gonna have to wait on another one. However, you could use one of the lower warriors' breastplates and kind of recreate the symbolism on the chest if you wanted to do that.
I mean, we had three, so there's no reason he couldn't have used that one as his own.
Fair enough. All right.
I did
Is
have
it
the
the
captain's
one that the
breastplate
one didn't?
specifically in my inventory,
Oh,
but
then that will then ignore everything I said. All right. So then it still shows a little bit battle worn from being in combat. It's not quite like the gleaming show of leadership that it was before. So I'm sure you'll get some inquiries of like what's going on with that. But for the most part, you have a lot of what you need for a disguise for a captain in the Xarxian army or Xarxian Empire. All right, and then spell jamming. So spell jamming is like controlling a ship in a sea with your mind, right? It's a connection that you when you sit down in in the chair, you have more power, you have more control than if you were anywhere in the ship. However, all spelljammers have some ability to control briefly or simply the controls of the ship from anywhere they are. The flapjack is a bit more um, advanced of a spelljammer than most because of his own innate telepathic abilities and the ability to is just his psychic abilities. He can better tap into some of the powers of the ship and almost as if he has this like his mind is expanded by the ship itself. Um, Unfortunately, with everything you were doing, getting to that is more of like a brief understanding of what had happened, but you kind of get the idea that maybe Dell could be on this level of flapjack versus just the same level of anybody who is a spell jammer because of your race and the powers that come with that. Do you have any specific questions for Flapjack or Sartell?
no, nothing comes to mind.
Okay.
And it's a short downtime, so we don't need to worry too much about that just yet.
All right. Okay. So if you have anything else, feel free to bring it up in downtime activities on Discord. Any questions like that? You also wanted to work on the metal monocle. I'm gonna need an Arcana check. You won't get anything from it right now, but um, we'll touch on that after this little session. Actually, roll your Arcana check. We'll see. Yeah, we'll touch on it next session. You can try again next time. All right. So the ship has made it through the wide way around the rock of towards the rock of Brawl, and you're going through an asteroid field that is on this other side. Now, typically, when Spelljammer ships travel through wild space, they go millions of miles per hour because they have such vast distances they have to travel. However, when anything that is remotely a spell jammer or something that can interfere with the spell jamming abilities or interact rather with the spell jamming abilities, whether it's the domain of a god or a new system or really anything kind of living that could interact with you, the ship automatically slows down. It's kind of this like fail safe put in that stops things from, stops any unnecessary crashes. And as you slow down, you kind of begin to slowly crawl through this asteroid field. The ship slows unexpectedly. Zartel kind of grabs at the hilt of her sword and looks around. Flapjack, who's further down into the ship's hull, lets out an alert on their, the kind of the we'll just call it the intercom, mental intercom as Flapjack lets the crew know that to be on alert. Our spell jamming vessel has sensed something else in this asteroid field. All around you, on all sides, colossal chunks of rock float in the void. Some of them are overgrown with vegetation, while others are bare stone. Creatures resembling jellyfish and rays glide through the spaces between them. Captain Sartell looks about uneasily. Plenty of places to hide, she says. As if on cue, a vessel lurking behind a nearby asteroid comes into view. Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
Can you see that?
Ba-ba-ba-ba-dum-bum.
This thing?
Yes,
Yes.
that thing. Wonderful.
Yeah, I can see that.
Excellent. Okay.
Ooh.
Its enormous spiral shell merges with an open bow, beneath which long tentacles wave as if caught in an invisible current. Sartell sucks her breath in through her teeth and whispers her next words. Mind flayers.
Peter, ready as a shot on the make.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, so I guess as you guys see this thing come into view, what's your first reaction? For the most part, we'll just assume that when you got the intercom from Flapjack, you made your way to the deck so you can or anywhere above ground, above the hole, so that you can kind of look at what's happening.
Is this ship very different from the one that we came to Wild Space on?
Except for like a couple of different, like the tentacles don't look exactly the same, but for the most part, no, it's the exact same ship. It's just it's the difference between two different.
Right. Same style, but not
Yes,
the.
yes,
I'm not expecting it to
not
be
the exact same
one.
one, but the same style. Mhm.
Captain, what are orders? Should we try to outrun them?
No, no. If they were there, they would have already attacked. Say we get closer, get a better look,
What?
perhaps, and see if there's anything left to salvage. As the moon dancer moves a bit closer, getting around this rock, squeezing through, you can see as you go through a lot more closely the vegetation that was attached to these rocks. They're so foreign to you, Rosemary. It's plants you've never seen, couldn't imagine, bioluminescence, moving parts, eyes, it looks like. And with what nutrients are they growing? With what air? With what water? With what do they take to survive? These questions are perplexing to you.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like going down to the very bottom of the ocean and still finding life and thinking, how can anything live down here? But everything adapts, it seems. So as the Nautilus-shaped vessel drifts closer, the captain lets out a sigh. As you get closer, she's like, oh, okay, good, good. It's derelict. There's no weaponry. The hull is cracked down the side from a larger ship ramming into it. If they were mind flayers aboard, they would have already attacked us. It looks like we're not even first or even second to the party. But one man's trash is another man's treasure, so. Are y'all ready?
And you're sure it's not a trap?
Well, can't quite be sure until we check it out, can we?
Ready? I mean, shouldn't we be trying to get to the rock?
Well, it would help us to afford these new crew members if we can come back with something a bit more valuable. Unless each of you have gold to pay their fee.
I have
Suppose
some
so. We
magical
might
items that they could share.
Magical items.
we wouldn't have to.
Everyone here is.
Pearl of power in this wand of the war mage.
uh, Perhaps if you could pawn those, then we could make a deal with them. They've agreed to come back with us. However, once we get back to the rock, we'll have to renegotiate. So come now, let's see what we can do and see what we can find. Perhaps it'll be something that can help us man our ship when we get to the rock. Flapjack, as you approach, kind of lets this like weird, like But it's more his tentacles kind of flapping in his mental mind as he feels uneasy about this new vessel. But Sartell kind of quickly just brushes it aside. Well, of course it doesn't feel good. It's a mind flayers. I'm sure they're messing with your mind. Probably left something on the ship to interfere with your abilities, Flapjack. Don't worry. We'll go and check it out.
Do I feel anything from the ship?
It makes you feel it's like noise. Your abilities to communicate telepathically are hindered. Anything you try to say is drowned out by this drone. It's not a loud drone, but it's almost as if it just you can hear nothing else except for that. So Sartell is going to order Flapjack to bring the ship up against it. We're going to prepare to board. Anybody have anything they want to prepare? Get ready. Any last minute things you want to do before we start to head out?
Beta will set aside his shield, which for the first time since anyone but Rosemary has seen, the ice that cakes it melts off because he'll just leave it like outside the tent and it stays frozen, but no, it melts off and you see that it in fact is just a normal shield crusted with ice. But he sets his shield aside and just walks up with hand axes, uh, setting aside his more defensive posture.
All right.
Let's do this.
Okay. Anybody else? Dale, Rosemary? Any extra last minute preparations?
Nothing for me.
All right.
So I can within line of sight. Sorry, I have a spell called Find Traps, but it's a 2nd level spell, and I don't think I could see stuff right now. So that's okay.
Yes, that you can do that more of like when you're in the ship. You can definitely cast that. I think from this point, just having perception
Yeah, exactly.
would be good enough. But so Sartell kind of gets ready, and as you all approach, and she jumps off first, kind of jumping between your air envelope and the air envelope of the nautiloid, just kind of drifting across the space before she lands on it. And as she's drifting across, you see a human rush out from the nautiloid. His bloodstained clothes kind of give you a moment of shock. Not really quite expecting a human of all things to pop out. He looks really no different from the humans of your planet, or no different from Sartell herself. Kind of rushes out onto the battle prow. So that little open little thing right above where the mangonel, where the broken mangonel sits, and he's waving you down, kind of gesturing you to come in. He's just shouting, and then he kind of like turns back, looks into the darkness, looks at you with these wide eyes. He doesn't make noise. He doesn't talk, but he's mouthing help. Before he then looks back again into the darkness, rushes back into the ship. Sartell sees this. She kind of has her weapons already out now, standing on the deck, looking back at the players. So let us.
He's standing on the deck of the nautiloid, or
Yes.
okay.
We're gonna go over to.
He went over without us.
She jumped over first. She's kind of like, let's go.
Okay. Okay, so she's looking back like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, she's looking. She's already made it over there, and now is like, what the heck? Sorry, let me adjust the lighting here on this.
He puts the hand axe in the back of his belt and pulls out his warhammer, his Darkcore warhammer.
Okay. Let me see. So we are going to. So you kind of drifted across to the battle deck. I'm gonna place your characters here. Boop. 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 Oh my gosh. Why is everyone so small? And then I need Sartell. All right. So the captain is here. Everyone is here. She kind of just is now the Sartell's as you guys are drifting across, just looking around at the mangonel, at the kind of some of these stairs, like peeking down, walks over to this edge of the ship, goes the other way. So this far side over here on the left, this is the front, the prow, where the tentacles kind of go off this way.
This side?
Yes.
And where did the guy disappear into?
So he came from down a little bit down this way. So there's like a little step down, and that's actually where the whatchamacallit, the not the mangonel, what's that other thing? The ballista. That's where that was located. And then he ran back into the ship.
Which way? Because there's like a couple. Do we
So
know which
he went-
hallway he went down over here?
He went down this way, and if you go this way, there's kind of like another stairs that can go in.
Oh, those are okay.
Oh. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up a map real quick for myself so I can hold on. I can look at that as you're walking through because it is rather confusing. This whole thing. Where is the not Lloyd? N. Nope. There we go. Okay. Got it. I thought y'all were 6.
Now we're 5.
We're 5. Okay. And we turned 5 right at the end of the.
We could do that.
No,
That's possible.
I'm pretty sure we turned 5 right at the end of the Goliath situation, or at least during that. Right. So we're still a bit away from getting to 6, but not too far away. Okay, so Elena kind of like walks down there, and she's like, into the cargo, it seems. She turns back around. She looks down, trying to see what she can see from inside here. It's dark, but the ship itself is illuminated across the whole area by these very dimly lit, flickering bioluminescent orbs. Kind of like if you were to enter a submarine that's going down, or is like, it's just red lights, kind of just low light. You can generally see things, but there's a lot of shadows. There's a lot that you can't see.
Can these orbs be detached from the ship?
Anytime you pick one of them off, it goes dark. Plugging it back into the same socket, where another empty socket that you see on the wall will bring it back up, but it won't increase any lights. There's no way to make it any more than dimly lit.
Gotcha.
Additionally, unlike on the Nautiloid that you had been on, where there weren't really doors per se, each of these this ship has these fleshy barriers that kind of form this like layer of skin. You can kind of see through it. It's not really transparent, but you can definitely see some light on beyond each door. There's one right there. There's also some more down this hallway around the corner. Sure, if I can adjust this so that as you are exploring. There we go. Okay. This should keep things already explored as you walk through. All right. So Sartell kind of looks to you and she says, well, which way would you like to go? Down the hole or down the stairs? So this big thing here goes to the cargo deck below, and that's kind of where the battle prow moves back around and goes to.
And that's where the figure went?
Yes, that's where the human went.
Is it possible to do a insight check on whether we should have been able to hear him and whether it might have been like a silent image?
Dale, you've been seeing how this works.
You can try, yes, but not an insight. History, because it's more of like you're remembering and thinking, okay, could I have? From what you can tell, and this could just be, your inexperience with being in Spelljammer, building a Spelljammer vessel, or just maybe he didn't have a very big voice, but you didn't get anything out of that would lead you to believe it was a silent image. It moved around a lot. It seemed realistic, but you weren't close enough to really inspect it to the level that you needed. Also, somebody's
I
at
want
7
to
health.
help the person.
Rosemary, you can bring yourself back up to health if you want.
Oh,
And
thank you.
Bitte, what are you investigating?
Oh, that's just like the normal, like if you suspect something is stuff and you see, he can't tell if it's not a illusion either.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Now Sartell also kind of chimes in. She's like, well, we don't have to follow him. We can always just...
I mean, if there's a person in trouble, we should help them, right?
It's
not our obligation. We're here.
Trouble.
Go on, Bitte.
If this person needs help and they clearly don't know how to solve it for themselves, then perhaps taking a more roundabout way to where they are attacking it from a different angle would be beneficial.
It's worth proceeding cautiously. It wouldn't be the first time someone has pretended to be in danger to lure well-meaning people into a trap.
Indeed.
His mind is happened to us.
Can we see anything looking down through the hole?
You cannot. You kind of have there's no light outside. There's not a star nearby that's going to shine anything. Do you have a torch or anything that you brought with you that you can light up to give you more? Otherwise,
I have torch-like illumination in the form of dancing lights.
Yeah, if you want to send dancing lights down and kind of spread it out, that would help as well.
Yeah, I'll put 4 lights down, kind of roughly at the corners of the hole on the ground level.
Okay.
Also light a torch.
I'll just. How much light does that give?
They're small. They're 10 feet of dim light.
You can move 10
Each
feet of
one
dim.
is 10 feet of dim.
Okay, so I mean, if you could, so that means you can spread that around
from each corner. They're
So
I guess I won't necessarily put them right at the corners because that's only 5 feet, but kind of.
Okay, so I'll give Tansy 40 feet of low light just for right now. Can you see Tansy down there?
No.
Can you see light?
Hold on.
Look down.
Let me zoom out and see. Yes, I can. Okay. I was like, no, I can't see through that hole and see a Tansy, but that wouldn't make sense. That's not how layered maps work.
I'm trying to see.
Yes.
Okay, so you can see it, but it does not seem like anybody else can see it.
Is she producing light, or does she just have vision?
She's producing light and has vision. It might just be because Tansy's only on your screen, or on your, Tansy's yours. So let me give Tansy to everybody. At least the ability to see Tansy. It can be edited and controlled by all players. That should change. Yep. Okay. Wonderful. That popped up on the stream. I guess I really only needed to give it to the stream, but that helps everybody. Okay. So looking down, from what Tansy can, or from what the dancing lights see, so not Tansy. Or are you going to send Tansy down? No, that doesn't seem like something you would do.
Tansy does have dark vision, so if anyone's going to scout ahead, she's probably better for it.
Okay, then let me give Tansy dark vision. Up to what, 120 feet, you think? Or 60
Let
feet?
me check her sheet. 120 feet dark vision.
100 feet. Okay, so yeah, Tansy gets down there. It is eerily quiet. You don't see much. You don't see really anything. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Ignore that. Let's go back. Retcon. Okay, so you were all
Tansy's
standing
dead.
above. We're gonna retcon this, but back here. I got my locations wrong. Okay, so going back a little bit, you're standing above the little hole, and you smell what is effectively a slaughterhouse. You get this really heavy irony reeking coming up, the smell of rotting corpses. From what you can see through your connection to Tansy and your dancing lights, the cargo hold looks and smells as if it had been used recently, as if it was a slaughterhouse. Bodies lie strewn apart upon the deck, and the floor is stained with blood. Majority of the bodies that you see appear to be human, but there is this one odd form, an arachnid form with an eel-like head or neck and a head as if it was like a human face stretched into odd angles. It lies motionless on the floor, just like the others. Zartel kind of like, yep, something was here.
What the hell is that thing?
Vita is going to pull out a dart and uh, make a sharpshooter attack on the weird shape.
Yeah. You
As well as-
throw the dart. It pierces and penetrates the body, which continues to lie still. Some blood, fresh, not fresh. Maybe, but you've been around the wilderness enough. Roll me a nature check or a medicine check to see how old do you think this body is from from your reaction from when you hit it with the dart. It's bleeding a little bit. No, it's not an
Can I
old
help?
body. Yes, of course, but I think with the 22, he's good.
Yeah.
It's not an old body.
Guide.
Maybe 24 hours has been dead. The humans, Rosemary, you can tell, look a bit worse off. Their bodies perhaps have been around for a couple of days.
Hmm.
Sartell kind of like peeks her head down, looks left and looks right, doesn't see anything besides the corpses, and so she jumps down.
Do you recognize that strange creature?
Oh, she's just okay.
And as she jumps down, she looks up. She's like, "It's a Nyogi. Come on."
Vita jumps down after, torch and hammer in hand.
I just want to put on the record that I don't like this. And then
Oh no,
it's gonna
is
follow.
terrible. This is a horrible idea.
This feels very much like a trap, and we're all gonna get eaten.
I'm not wearing closed-toed shoes, and I'm not happy about that.
Ooh, yeah, that sucks.
All right, so I'm just gonna move all y'all down here. There we go.
Oh, by the way, if you wanna get a look at what I was describing design-wise, you can make the token bigger and take a look because that's the revised Hero Forge of it.
Take a look.
It's in
Very
my book.
nice. Still got
Yeah.
some furs, but for the most part, mostly armor.
Yeah, stripped down.
Excellent, excellent. I never get a chance to do this, but Sartell will make a mention of you saying, when we get to the rock, you should probably cover up. Kind of pointing out, like, not very many people like the Zarxian Empire, and being covered in their armor could give the wrong impression. Also, we don't really want to upset any patrols we might pass while we're on the rock.
I will. I think somewhere I have an old cloak lying around.
No, I got one in the hall. We can give it to you when you get back. But for the time being, this might help us. Perhaps whomever is on this ship that human can tell us what happened, and perhaps may even be more afraid and more willing to share with somebody who has defeated the astral elves. All right. So, what would you guys like to do when you are now in the cargo deck? Um, what are you thinking?
Peter will
Uh,
start exploring.
Start exploring.
It's with the amount of blood and stuff down here. There's got to be like freshish footprints. Or
Yeah, but there it seems that human that had ran through had been kind of he's made his way into this place multiple times. Um, besides, roll me a survival check to see, and Bete, of course, you can help as well if y'all kind of want to try to find those tracks. See if we can find the freshest version of those tracks.
I feel like if Vite is gonna check for it, I'll just assist him.
Okay, yeah. So Bete, you're able to find a couple of tracks. You find something that looks very similar to the foot of that Nyogi, that arachnid-like creature. You also find some hooves. They look kind of goat-like, or deer-like. They're just two little halves of hooves. And then, of course, you find some what you suspect to be the humanoid footprint. It goes it goes through this door over here, this flesh barrier that you see.
The one next to Rosemary.
Yes,
Okay.
it's
Did you
it's
say goat hooves?
yeah, hooves, deer, goat.
Which way did those go?
They kind of go all over, and they also go through that door.
Ah,
But they don't look as new as the humans. The humans' footprints are definitely the freshest leading out of that door. So in this cargo hold, you find that there are 11 human corpses. And of course, you have the arachnid form, which is a Nyogi. Would anybody like to inspect the corpses?
Rosemary will. I'll make a medicine check on him.
Yeah. What do you look?
Peter will assist.
Assist. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. 25.
Excellent. One done. Done. Excellent. Excellent. So you see that as you determined above as well, they are in varying states of decay. The Nyogi did die within 24 hours, and variety of the humans look like they died over the course of 1 week to 3 days ago. So they were here before whatever that arachnid was here. Were the humans defeated by the arachnid? You're looking across the bodies, and they do have some like combat scars, or one of them has a stab wound, but they all have this circular bite, full circle with little teeth, and almost like it's like a suction on every single body, including the Nyogi.
I will point it out to I'm forgetting our captain's name. Or
Sartell.
this lady's name. Sartell. I'll
Yep.
point it out to
Where
Sartell and be like, what does this tell you?
She kind of looks at it.
where on the body is this wound?
Where are the bite marks? On the humans, mostly like their shoulder neck area. On the Nyogi, on his neck.
space vampires.
um, she kind of looks at it, and she like sits down and like grabs a little dagger and kind of picks at it a little bit, seeing if there's any teeth. She doesn't find any, but it has this weird like gunk around all of them, dried on most of the humans, but a little bit of it was fresh on the Nyogi. She kind of look, you know, I don't spend a lot of time around mind flayers, except for our lovable pals who dropped you off. So I'm not quite sure if this is from them or from one of their weird pets. They're known to acquire a variety of things, creatures, thralls that they have enslaved with their mental prowess. It does scare me, however, though, that I have not seen these sorts of teeth in my travels. Something is on this ship. You hear the pitter pattering of some feet behind the door.
Well, the rest of you be prepared. I will open the door.
All right.
Yes.
Slide over so I can get a shot line.
Okay. Bitte, you approach the door and it's closed. It doesn't really have like anything you can pry it open. There is where you see a seal right down the middle. But sticking your hands in it and you pull, it's very rubbery, and it's going to take some time to really pull it apart before Elena kind of walks over and she's like, have you never opened one of these before? Weren't you on a nautiloid ship?
There were no doors on that ship.
Ah, yes, I forget. They don't. Anyways, this is always a fun thing. And she walks up and just like tickles the door, and it opens up.
I hate that.
it almost like what do you want to call it? Kind of like not squeals, but like jiggles with laughter.
That is disgusting.
And you kind of all right. One moment. Dun 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 dun. Open up and just gonna moved hands in here so you can see. Move across. Come in. And you see the human just kind of like cowering next to the stairwell, just shivering as he looks at you. He's like, shh. And it points to the other door in here.
He's like shushing us.
He's shushing us and he's pointing to there.
Okay.
He's gesturing you to follow him up.
I'm going to counter gesture for him to come here.
Yeah. Does he look like this is an act? Like this, like he's playing like bait fish to something?
Roll insight. But as far as you can tell, like what you're looking at him, he looks beaten up. He looks starved. He looks like he's had some like scratch marks and such. But you still have this feeling of why is he alive? So Bitte, you can be cautious, but it's more of a, why is this one alive when all the rest of the humans died for 3 days and you had that arachnid creature that was here before that, right? What has this guy done that's really caused him to be how he is, I guess. He still hasn't said any
Does he
words.
have any of those circular wounds?
What?
Does he have any of those circular wounds?
He does not. No. He has like scratch marks, some like a big like claw kind of down his arm, his right arm. It's dried blood. For the most part, he looks very dirty and grimy. His shoes that he had on are like caked in the blood, as well as and you can tell like just looking at the stairs that he has moved around the ship a little bit. And the nautiloid itself is like a very dark ship, so you probably didn't notice it on the cargo deck, but down here where there's not as much like I guess exposure to the outer elements or something, it's a bit more, or maybe just because it's more fresh coming from the cargo deck that they kind of fade as they go up the stairs. So this stairs right here is the one that goes back to where he was going, and this stairs go down into the deck below the cargo deck. That was where the other nautiloids that you are, or mind flayers that you had talked with, or had brought you into Spelljammer. That's where they had kept their hall, was on that prison deck. It's just a large kind of, well, a lot of there's a lot of cells down there. A lot of things could be held in the prison deck. From your understanding of the ship, that's where anything of real value could be.
So he's pointing here or to this door?
No, he's pointing to the door and saying shush, and trying to like get you to follow him as he goes. He's trying to get you to follow him upstairs. Like come on, let's go. He's still not
Like
saying
upstairs to the deck?
yes, back to where you were.
My God,
Can we
why did
motion
you even
him
come
towards
down here?
us?
What?
Can we like motion him towards us and be like, follow, like,
Yeah, he kind of
come
like
here?
he looks at you, and he still is like shh, shh, shh. And he walks really he gets closer and closer, and he kind of gets behind Bitte a little bit. Elena has her scimitar already out and is like looking at him, giving him like a look up and down. He seems to calm down a little bit when he sees Elena and he sees another human, and he just kind of like relaxes ever so slightly, and he's just in a very whisper voice, something. What?
Yeah, we could tell. Why are you alive? How are you alive, I guess?
I'm a good hider. It's been it's been a nightmare. We need to get away from that door if you want me to talk more. Here, into the cargo. And he kind of walks through. Close the door. It can hear us.
Are there any of these bloodstained tracks that lead back behind that door?
No, there are not.
No cloven hooked ones.
No, that door actually, should have mentioned this, is shut with sutures of rope and steel hooks. Like they sewed the fleshy barrier closed.
These stitches are like tied from the other side?
No, from your side.
Okay, so whatever it is, it has a different way of getting into the area.
Or yes, you could
They
assume.
trapped it in there. They like
So
So,
so yeah.
are
So
there like vents
what?
around?
Are there other
Like air?
air vents? No.
Yeah. No. Okay.
So Bitte, I guess you the human run past you. Elena kind of steps back as well. Rosemary, you're still Rosemary and Dale. Neither of you moved forward, correct?
No, we don't go into the room.
Okay. So Bitte, as you're kind of like, are you turning back to go walk with the human? Are you going to stay where you are? Look at that door a little bit further, closer.
Beetle will probably go with the human, I suppose. Is he'll look to the rest of the party um with like a what do you think kind of expression and motion to where he's going.
Okay.
To like look at the door that the guy was gesturing to?
Yeah.
Rosemary's gonna shake her head no.
Oh no, to the cargo hold, not the one that's stitched up.
So you want him to get closer to the cargo hold door?
Yeah, no. Beach is not just then like fuck it and go into the stone up flesh door.
So as you turn back around and walk towards the cargo deck, you hear very
He
faintly.
doesn't turn his back on it for the record.
You hear very faintly from that room. Help! Help me!
Beat has spent enough time in nature to know what some fuck shit sounds like.
Help! I'm trapped. It sounds foreign. It's too easy to notice that it could potentially be a trap. It doesn't seem like it's human, but it is speaking common.
Hmm.
Rosemary
Peter,
shakes her head again.
yeah, Peter follows the guide to the cargo hold.
Help me. You say, it says again as you disappear back into the cargo hold, the flesh door closing as you walk in, and no longer can you hear the screams, or rather the calls, coming from that room just below the battle prow. So the human kind of looks and eases up a little bit now that you are all in the room together. And just looking around, she's like, oh, okay. Okay, we can talk a little bit more better. Good, good. I've
The fuck is happening?
well, I'm a look, I'm a pirate. Okay, right? We're here as just as you are to salvage, but there was something on this ship. You can see what it did for my friends. I think I'm the last one yet, but looks around and counts the bodies. But we did have 13 in our crew.
How many bodies are down here?
There are 11 bodies there.
So there's a
So-
potential that there's one more.
Yes. Potential that there is one more body, either killed in a different area or still alive.
Have you seen what it is that does this?
No. But the horror. The sounds it made as it. I don't know what it is, but it took us one by one. We were exploring. Before you know it, all I heard were screams and screams and screams. That was a while ago. This thing kicks the Nyogi. Came in after us, but they were a bit more lucky. They retreated. Maybe they know what was here. Maybe they defeated it. I'm not sure. Wasn't able to get onto their ship, nor would I really want to. They're not known to be the friendly sort, these Nyogi.
Wait, where's your ship? Where's the Nyogi ship?
Well, I assume the Nyogi ship left and probably took ours. If you haven't seen it, is it not just drifting through the asteroid field? When our Spelljammer died, it kind of began to drift on its own. Or perhaps he made it back to the ship and left me to die. I'm not quite sure.
Your Spelljammer is the one who is missing from this
He looks around.
travel.
Yes. Seems that Bartholomew is not here.
Well, we didn't see a ship, but we didn't really search the asteroid field after finding this one. Perhaps we should sweep the ship. I assume that's not your crewmate behind that door.
I don't know what that is, but I would bet, given that this is a mind flayer ship, it's just a brain devouring aberration, likely a pet. A crew kind of, well, those are our ropes, our steel hooks. I'm sure somebody in my crew locked it up for a good reason. I wouldn't try to interact with it. In fact, keeping quiet is probably the best way. If you want to come with me, we can go back up, find the command and observation deck. Perhaps if you're looking for anything of value, it's up there. You could also check out the prison, but we didn't go down there. So I'm not sure what awaits us.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should probably sweep the ship, see if we can locate any information on what happened here or your missing crewmate.
Agreed.
As long as we all stay close. You said it picked people off one by one?
You don't want to split up, Elena says? Cover more ground.
No. Nope.
One of us could go down, one of us could go up.
Do you want to get eaten by a thing?
Well, look, sister. If you're going to be on my crew, you're going to have to man up. I have to.
I mean, there's a difference between manning up and being an idiot.
Confidence. Give me one.
I have confidence in numbers.
Fine. We'll take it. Be slower. More likelihood that something.
You seem a bit less toxic the last time we spoke.
I'll be right back.
No, that's the opposite of what we said.
Yes. I'll take her. Yeah, of course.
I think perhaps command first
I don't know.
might have some information on what this
All her fruit.
terrible thing is.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Maybe at least figure out where they've been, where they were going.
Okay.
I will focus on keeping my eyes peeled.
That was British. Yeah. How are you feeling?
And he'll pull out another torch just so we have more than one. He'll hand it to Rosemary and take this. I don't know.
Thanks, I have dark vision.
Del, I just I wonder if these lights might go out at inopportune moments.
That's fair. I'll do my best, and I have Druidcraft so I can relight it if I need to.
Excellent.
Anything up your dice? Okay, let's go to the. Don't. Can you put this down? Don't worry.
Oh, you know the bubble waffles? Did we talk about bubble waffles at a point previous?
We did.
Was that this one? I had one.
And what's the verdict?
It was good. It was good. It was like a macaroni and cheese and like a fried breaded chicken thing in it. So it was like savory.
Interesting.
And like the chicken and the mac part of it was like kind of middling, but the like sweet waffle with a little bit of like cheese and spices and stuff on it was quite lovely.
Hell yeah.
Ended up getting a decent amount of food truck stuff at Sacramento Pride yesterday. Oh shit! I also saw Rebecca Black. She's still making music. Friday.
Good for her.
Yeah,
she
it
got
was
like totally ripped off by the guy who made the Friday video, so it's nice. I've seen some stuff from her that she can like actually sing.
like what money, like A, that made money, and B, she got fucked over.
So it was one of those things where you can like pay someone and they'll like make a music video for you, except like he just made like the worst one. So like she can actually sing, but he just like had her do this really dumb like Friday song that was like badly tuned, and it cost a lot of money for them to like do that, and then I think he retained like maybe the royalties for it.
Oh,
It was one of those like scams, but it just happened to go viral.
what an asshat.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, she seemed talented. I mean, didn't seem. I'm not the poppiest person, but apparently she's becoming quite popular. It was weird. It was weird seeing her throwing ass, though.
Yeah, I
It
can
was not
imagine.
what I anticipated from a childhood memory.
Also, for anyone tuning in, our DM's daughter did a poo, so we have to deal with that. I say we. He has to deal with that.
Yes.
So, quick question for any of the cat owners out there: how do you deal with a cat that has terminal baby disease?
Well,
Terminal what?
you just make sure that you tell them that they are baby at any given opportunity, and you cradle them like baby, and you give them little baby pets, and you say, "I'm sorry, you have a terminal case of baby. I can't help it."
Okay.
I've also found it very useful to occasionally nuzzle the top of their head, pull your lips over your teeth, and go onto their ears. Um, um.
Um,
Yeah, perfect. Excellent form. You're a natural.
Indeed. It's a baby girl. It's a baby girl. I have a terminal baby here. I have two of them actually.
Very nice. What's my boy up to? It's too quiet in this house. Where's he sleeping? He's snoozing in the bed.
He's still your spot.
Absolutely. Every time. If he's asleep in like the living room or something on the couch and I like get up just to like go look in the other room, like, oh, I need a phone charger or something, just like I'm gone for like 30 seconds. I come back. He's in the warm butt space.
Oh, of course.
That's all he wants.
It's that good heat-seeking technology.
Yes, the military has been after his secrets for years.
But luckily, cats don't talk to cops or narcs or the military, so good for them.
Goddamn right.
Pro tip for anyone out there: don't talk to cops. Just don't. Just shut your mouth.
That's what lawyers are for.
The cat went out into the garage, and I was doing random tricks for Treatos with the dog. And he just heard the commands and he was like, I know what that means. So he came running back inside to just beg for snackos.
Love that.
Okay, I am back.
Well, come back.
Yes, things happened, and then more things happened. But yeah, fun stuff. I went to change my diaper out of, or change my daughter out of her diaper because we've been doing potty training. I didn't take it off this morning, and she left me a surprise. I don't know where it went. And then that surprise dropped out. So then that was a problem. And then we had a little bit of a
Oh, oof.
time in the shower. And then I decided to turn on like the high powered shower to really get it out of there. That was a horrible idea. So yes. So that's where we are now. And I still need to find her steader. So I'll be right back. 2 more minutes or so, and then we'll get right back
Do
on.
your thing.
Eloise, where is your what did you do with it? Look at it. Okay. All right. I am back.
Welcome back.
Wonderful. Okay, where were we?
On a spaceship.
On a spaceship. Human wants you to kind of, just his spelljammer is the one who he thinks is missing. He's wanting you to kind of go with him to explore the rest of the ship. The Sartell wanted to split up, but y'all decided not to. So where are we going? Up or down? Prison deck or back up to the top?
I think up to the command deck is what we decided.
Up to the command deck. Okay. All right. So, sorry. To get through from where you are to the command deck, you're currently on the cargo deck, you're going to go back into that room. You're going to go up those stairs to the battle prow, up the stairs back to the bridge deck. Then from there, you'll go down the main, the battle deck. Then you go down the main big stairs that are right there on the back of the battle deck to the bridge deck. And on the bridge deck, that is where you're going to find stairs to get up to the command deck, a ladder to get up to the command deck. Child, I swear.
She's very demanding.
She
knows what she wants.
It's 12 o'clock. It's not even ready for you. Want milk?
Yeah, milk.
Okay. Let me go boil your
Go
water.
get her milk.
Let me go get your milk. Oh my lord. All right. Yeah, you're going up to the bridge deck, to the command deck. Are you trying to find the spelljammers, like the helm of the ship?
I think the plan is just head to the command deck and see what's going on. Like if we can figure out if there's any information on what the ship was doing.
Gotcha.
And then
Okay. All right. I'll be right back. We'll touch on that.
I think we head to the top, look for like information or anything, and then we could start sweeping top to bottom to look for.
Yeah, I think top to bottom is a good way to sweep.
I actually find when I'm sweeping that the top of the floor is also the bottom of the floor. So, do I do it? Yeah, but is it?
Are you telling me
you've
you don't
never
sweep
swept
the ceiling?
a multi-tiered surface before? Never swept some stairs?
Actually, I've only ever had carpeted stairs. Is that true? No, that's a lie. But we didn't actually have proper flooring at the time. So sweeping it was like not really useful because there was a bunch of like white construction powder everywhere. Anyway.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I've taken to throwing a handful of peanuts into anytime I eat ice cream.
Ooh, that's a
Yeah.
nice texture.
It is texturally, it's lovely. I love peanuts. I love like the nuttiness. Obviously, it's just good, and
Love that for
because
you.
it gives you a little extra fat and protein. Uh, I typically I will eat ice cream and be like, I want more, I want more, but it's just like, oh, well, okay, yeah, no, I am a little full.
I'm gonna be honest, when you first started saying about throwing a handful of peanuts, I really thought you were gonna be like, yeah, Corey should just try throwing a handful of peanuts into like a room and closing the door real quick to keep his daughter distracted.
I mean,
I just immediately assumed that was the direction you were going with. I don't know what that says about me as a person.
I'm not sure it says great things about me as a person either. That's someone be like, yeah, he seems like someone who would just be like, distract that little fuck, you'll be fine.
Distract the child.
It does not feel inaccurate though.
Okay, I am back, and
Did you catch your parenting pro tip?
I found the steader, and I found milk, and now everyone is coming home. So I may have to take another quick break, but in the meantime, how are y'all proceeding through the ship as you make your way from where you are all the way up to the command deck?
Safely and completely free of ambush.
Okay, so very
Yeah,
cautiously, kind
he's
of
gonna
like
keep himself like marching order wise between like closest to the weird stitch door is where he's gonna be. Like he's gonna be completely on watch and completely making sure he's between the rest of the party and that door.
so y'all are taking your time. There's no rush in this. It's 100%. We're not going to get caught off guard.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so.
Okay,
No real
all right.
time crunch as far as I can tell. There's no like blinking the ship will self-destruct.
No, not that you're aware of. No. And how are
Corey
y'all?
shaking his head in disappointment at all the surprise mechanics he's not going to get to use.
And so, how are you progressing through the ship with how are you treating the human as you are moving through? Is he a prisoner? Is he part of your crew? Is he?
I mean, like general trust, but Rosemary is also like keeping a very close eye on what he does.
Okay.
Just to make sure he's not like some sort of sleeper agent or like a lure bait.
Yeah.
Are you
The
using
captain
more of your?
pretty on point of having weapon drawn and at him.
All right. All right. Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say you have a weapon drawn, pointed at him the whole time?
The captain seemed like she did.
Yeah. I mean, she definitely has her sword out, and she's keeping an eye on him for sure. So, are y'all looking more like physical cues for watching them, or are you looking at like you more insight, like you just kind of get this trying to like watch them as a feeling? I'm gonna ask like, do you want to roll insight or do you want to roll perception on keeping an eye on the human who I don't think he's ever introduced himself, has he?
He hasn't.
And nobody's ever asked him what his name was, have they?
I feel like Rosemary'd be like, so what's your name, buddy?
Benoto Kurisaki.
Kurosaki?
Kurisaki. You can call me Kurisaki.
Nice to meet you, Kurosaki.
I wish we
So
could.
how many days have you been on this ship?
Hard to tell. Don't really have a watch. Don't have anything to tell time. There's no stars in this asteroid field. I've been here for some time. Days, maybe even weeks. Hard to tell where. He just kind of trails off.
What are you eating? What are you drinking?
Oh, I guess you guys didn't really get a chance. The cargo hold actually has a lot of food and water. I have to just sneak in every now and then, grab some rations, and I hide in variety of places on the ship. Kind of just keep an eye and never stay in the same place more than once until I've cycled through all of my potential places.
This creature has been stitched up in there effectively as long as almost as. When did this thing? When was that door closed? When was that door stitched up?
When I arrived, I part of the crew that checked out the upper levels. I think we were on here, but less than a few hours. Packing up what we could. Not sure when it got stitched up.
Where were you when your crewmates were being killed?
I was up on the command deck, just taking a look at the captain's chair.
And so then you've been hiding out here for days since then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was days. I mean, it has to have been days looking at what my friends have done in the meantime.
Rosemary, when did you say you thought that Nyogi creature had been killed? It was
The
recent,
Nyogi
right?
like a day ago.
That's
So
a bit odd there, buddy.
No, I told you, didn't I? I said that these pirates came after us. The Nyogi pirates, but they left. They lost one of their own, I guess, gesturing to the body, but they left. They didn't stick
the
behind.
the Nyogi interrupted your salvage before the attacks began.
No, we'd already been attacked, and my friends had died. For
These friends had died,
before here, they
and
were
the door was stitched up.
the door has been stitched up by us.
And then the Nyogi came, and the Nyogi was attacked by this thing when the door had already been stitched up.
I never said that the thing behind the door.
You just gotta take him by the throat.
The Nyogi.
Right. There are a few holes in your story, friend.
As there should be. Wouldn't imagine I'm not a bit delirious. It's been a few days stuck here with nobody to talk to on my own.
Yeah. Does someone want to make an insider perception? Well, Bita's looking him over and helping with whatever.
I'm gonna do insight on him.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have advantage or not.
Even with advantage, he definitely has holes in the story, but nothing's giving you anything that says, nothing outrageous, or I guess nothing so far has been just like glaringly like a lie. More of, he's not in the best condition mentally, physically, and that seems to be affecting his ability to just function in general. At least that's what you're getting from your insight checks.
I still don't really trust him, but he has been through a lot.
Yeah, he's still a pirate too. Like I would, as as me being Kurosaki here, you don't have to trust him, but he's for the most part, or for the time being, a willing ally, as much as a Hadozi, would be. Except if you found Hadozi on their own, having been stuck inside this hull for weeks with their slaughtered remains of their friends that he has to constantly go back and forth, passing over, stepping over.
So he's been here for weeks.
He said he's been here for. You have seen that the dead bodies have died between 3 days and a week. That was what you got from your nature check earlier. He has said he's either been here for days or weeks. I wasn't quite sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, the stitching up, is not fucking lining up, and he's Bita does not like that one bit.
Okay,
Do
I'm gonna
have
take another quick 5-minute break real quick. I'm gonna move back upstairs now that all my family is back, and I won't have to sit down and watch Eloise. So I'm gonna do 5 minutes, move my laptop upstairs. My audio should improve as well, and then we will get right back to it. So enjoy your another little break, and we'll resume very quickly.
Should we put this motherfucker in manacles?
Absolutely. Do we
Yeah, I
have
think
any?
so.
Okay. Okay. B2 will hold this bitch down as needed, so.
Nice.
What's something that's silly and funny that I can do a weird, overly dramatic reading of? Just
My Immortal.
my
The Harry Potter fan fiction. Have you not heard of the most infamous fan fiction of all time?
Is it a book by Tara Gillespie?
Uh, it is a fan fiction by Tara Gillespie, I think.
Okay, it reads as a book. Or it lists as a book.
People have done publishing of it.
Okay, where can I...
Let me see. Here,
Okay, it's posted. Where do I actually read it?
here I'm posting it in general. Here's the homepage, where you can find the other set of
Chapters
chapters.
1 to 22.
They're very short chapters. This is like there are 44 chapters
Ebony,
in total.
Darkness, Dementia Ravenway.
Yes. Hi, my name
Okay.
is Ebony, Darkness, Dementia Ravenway, and I have long, ebony black hair. That's how I got my name, with purple streaks and red tips that reaches mid-back and icy blue eyes like limpid tears, and a lot of people tell me I look like Amy Lee. Author's note, if you don't know who she is, get the hell out of here. I'm not related to Gerard Way, but I wish I was, because he's a major fucking hottie. I'm a vampire, but my teeth are straight and white.
Just gonna pause for a sec. She wishes she was related to person she has sexual attraction to. Just carry
Yes.
on.